and welcome. This is my first tips and tricks video for Flight Simulator, and this will be like how to start the game. So basically you have options. You don't need to do anything here except one good things. If you have Windows 10 and you have the US English package with text-to-speech and everything installed to your PC, if you change from Azure to Windows Offline, you will have different kind of robotic voices for the air traffic control. So this is an amazing things to have a little bit more eventful flying and don't have the same tone over and over again, because when you're just flying over London, you changing tower 15 times and all of the voice is exactly the same tone. It's not the best, so I like to use that one. So if you want to fly the game, you need to go to world map. So this is the first thing. Yeah, I highly recommend it to do the flight training. It's helps a lot to understand the basics, but if you just want to jump in and start to fly, you can do it here. So the most important thing, if you have a slower, weaker PC, try to avoid New York, try to avoid Tokyo, and try to avoid London, because this area is full with planes and buildings and everything. But if you change the settings to medium, you can manage it. If you really start have some issues, just check some videos how to gain some FPS. But usually if you disable the AI and the player traffic, that will be helps a lot. But yeah, they're killing some aspect of the game, so just try to not go to the most urban area. So if you say London, is a little bit crowded right now, especially Heathrow. Everyone want to go to Heathrow because they have a hand-built airport for the premium deluxe owners. So the first thing what you need to do, and what I usually do, I'm going to Hungary, because we have a massive airport here, international airport, and you have Kunmadaras very close. In this airport, nobody using it. It's a small one. You select this as departure, and if you go to the international airport to Hungary, this is 11 minutes with the turbo prop. So you can take off, you can change lots of radio frequencies, you can talk with the air traffic controller. It's a very good point to land, and you have ILS, so you can also practice the autopilot landing. So the first plane, when you want to fly and you just start in the flight simulator, I think Icon 5. It's amazingly easy to fly, very easy to understand the plane, and this is just a beauty to fly. No autopilot, and if you don't know if the plane has autopilot or the dashboard, how does it looks like, and you don't want to wait for loading in the screen, the small tip, just go back to here, go to your profile. When you go into My Hangar, this will shows the last selected airplane. So you can see it from outside. You do click on the mouse and you can go around and zoom. And also you can go inside and you have the same controls and the same points to look around. If you see this plane, it looks like a motorcycle. So you have ignition key, master switch, and basically the rest is click, and your plane is working, and you have a massive touchscreen here. You can easily see where is your flaps. You can do some trimming with the LEDs. Navigation or communication radio is here, And the other thing for this plane can act like a boat. So when you are in the water, you can use the water rudder, and you can turn a little bit better when you are in open sea. And the other thing is parking brake is done here, and you just need to turn on the fuel. Everything else is working. If you are in the dark, you can turn on here a little bit the background LEDs, so you can see your dash, and I believe you can switch on these lights. So this is the first plane to fly. I think the Icon A5 is the best. And the second plane, when you want to fly, is believe or not, this one. So this TBM 930, it's almost as fast as a jet plane. They have a massive range. They have an amazing sat-nav, and they have one special tool what will be helps you a lot. So if you're flying any plane, and for flying from A to B, you need to use external sights to see the some communication frequencies. So for this you can use SkyVector, or you can use any other sites. But to get an ILS frequency when you want to land, you need to open PDF, you need to open lots of things, and you need to find the information. So I just jump out for a little bit, so I'm loading in the game, and I will come back. And how much faster to load it when you don't need to wait. But Kunmadaras is like middle of nowhere. You have one asphalt field, and that's it. This is your plane. You have some warning because the brake is on. So when you want to fly to somewhere, and this is why I like it, because it's in ILS range, almost ILS range, so we can create a flight path. So when you want to use the computer to do a procedure, and you want to approach Budapest airport, you want to use ILS, and you're using ILS 3, load and activate. And if you come here, you already can see we're going to Buda and coming back to Pest, so it's not the best. You still can select ILS 13. You can load this one. It's the same. And you can, in the ground, practice how this is working. And when you're going to here, you also can check in the same map. So at the moment it's an Attico, but we don't want to use Attico because it looks a little bit weird. So we're just checking foot now. It looks better. So we're just going straight, turning one right, landing straight. And in here you can practice the full autopilot approach planning without going anywhere. So you can practice anything. But if you are in the situation when you're running out of fuel because you messed up something that you didn't calculate properly, and you want to fly somewhere and you want to know the ILS coordinates, because to fly down you need to go and use this vectors. So basically when you want to use the ILS for this airport, we need to set a frequency, because at the moment the bearing will be nav1. I'm using here the GPS, and also we're just doing some other small tweaking. So we have AOA, it's good. We need wind, so we best see the wind. and you have all of the information what you need, and you were flying with this mode. If you want to use touchscreen, sadly this is not touchscreen, but we know we were going to LHBP, so this is Budapest, but we want to go back here to the plan, and for the procedure we were using 31L, so 31L ILS tower. But for have the comms, we need to go and come here, and we need to select an airport where we're going to LHBP, enter, and this is the info what you have in every FMCs. So every onboard computer, so we have the information, but for frequencies you need to open a web page like this, and after you need to right click here. You were using the word VFR, you were clicking here, and after you need to find somehow the IFR chart, and you need to find the ILS frequencies. And this can be a little bit hard, especially if you're a beginner. So this is a beginner friendly guide, and we just going back to the game. So you see you're already here using your onboard computer, and you have FRAQS, so frequencies, and you just start scrolling down, no touchscreen, and we're going to where are we going? Sorry. Yeah, Pre1L. So we're coming back here, we're going to waypoint info, we already have this, and this will be our ILS. So you're clicking here, and you will use nav1. So basically, the things for this changed. When we're coming here, and we're getting closer to the landing, one click, and this will be changed to nav1, but at the moment we don't have any directions because we are far away from the tower. But when you heading like Futna or BP856, you're already in range, and the plane just automatically start gliding down. And this is the only plane what I find at the moment which has an onboard airport info for ILS frequencies. So this is why this plane is easy to fly and easy to start. The other thing is what is easy here. So if you see this plane from outside, this is a powerful beast. So you have speed, easy to take off, easy to change altitude, and easy to control and gain speed. So the only thing what you need to do is set your position, release the parking brake, go to max speed, try to keep your plane in the middle of the runway, and now the plane is start taking off. Don't need to do anything, it's do itself. Trim it to 10%. And you're off from the ground. You are flying. So, but when you're flying, you need to have autopilot. You have some cautions. So this is the good thing. They said, oh okay, something AP on, YD off. So we have damper on, and he said the SEP is off. Yeah, it's off. Now everything what you need is done. And the other things what you need to follow navigation, because you already have navigation here, and you need to select the altitude where you want to go up. So going up to 5,000. Of course, it's you need to do the ATC, and you just selecting FLC. So with FLC, when you want to climb up, you need to lower your speed, and now it's going to somewhere. And the other things what you can use is Fly Director, and now you have the magenta line, and this shows what the autopilot want to do. And the autopilot is telling you want to go up, you're going up to 4000, you want to keep this speed 152, and because we don't know what speed we need to do, we need to use the cheat sheet. And the cheat sheet is here on the side. It's telling us if you want to do climbing, if you want to operate the brakes, the landing gear and everything, what speed you need to use. So even if you don't know anything about the plane, this plane helps you to fly like a pro. But, and this is a big but, you cannot see the dash when the sun is going down. So this is what you need to learn: buttons. So you can turn on the lights, everything, panel lights, and of course we need to turn on the landing because we are flying. And that's it. This plane already in the air, and except to take off, I didn't use the joy. And this is very easy to fly, and the only thing what you need to do the bottle settings, but I think it's easier as a beginner. Just press B, you don't need to do anything else. Oh sorry, this is not managing that one. Yeah, so basically this is the easiest plane to fly. Everything is just working smoothly, you don't need to check anything else, and the autopilot is amazing. They have all of the functionalities what you want. Only thing what is easier to land, it's the Airbus, but the Airbus has much more buttons, more buttons than this. And when you are approaching the waypoint where you want, we are getting there very close. Around this line you will have ILS, and I think maybe you already have here, but to use the ILS you need to change the navigation to approach. So when you are using approach, and yeah, you need to talk with the ATC, what I'm not doing right now, but when you're doing approach you will see you have GP, and the GP is white. But when you're getting closer, especially when you're going to straight line to the airport, this is why I like this map, because it's easier to move. When you're going closer to the airport, you just turn the navigation from FMS to this one, and when you see here they have data, that means your plane already have ILS, so you will have easy landing, and you just need to do some extra stuff on the last 500 feet to land the plane. And of course the instruments, you need to be careful to not use too much torque, don't overheat the engine, oil pressure, everything, and have enough fuel. And you can see the flaps is here, you also have flaps here, and the good thing in here, you don't need to twist knobs. You can use the touchscreen down here, and even if you want to check the weather, you can use weather radar. But if you don't want to use this one, you also can use the buttons somewhere. Maybe in this one, but I'm usually using the touchscreen. So this is the weather radar, so left and right nothing, and above and below nothing, so we are good. When you have like a red lights here, you need to be careful where you're flying. That's it. So two easiest plane to start the game. start the simulator. Sorry, it's not a game. Before someone going crazy. And you have music player. Plus, you have USB. What else do you need? No, just kidding. Of course, if you are feeling a little bit cold, you can change the fan speed and you can change the temperature. If you finish your flying, you're just going to the upper position. With this, you can switch off almost everything. When you're landing, you need to use the landing gear, so it's a double switch. Taxi is on one down, and when you arrive, you're just using the off position. And yeah, when you're using the pages, so basically this plane teach you, okay, so we are already in the takeoff, we already after takeoff, you already did the climb, so we are cruising. Okay, what do I need to do to cruise?
Altimeter setting,
yeah,
check.
We already set the
Autopilot.
altimeter. Autopilot, check.
Check. Fuel gauges, check. DI system, as required. Inert SEP, as required. Landing lights, off.
Okay, so we are approaching and we starting to going down. So let's check.
Altimeter setting, check. Fuel gauges, check. DI system, as required. Inert SEP, as required.
That's it. So when you're doing approach,
Altimeter setting, QNH, set/check. Fuel gauges, check. DI system, as required. Inert SEP.
on. Okay, we just ignore this one. And landing lights you need to turn on. Final 500, you need to do everything yourself. And you need to turn off the autopilot and the yaw dampening. For the last 500 feet, you need to do it yourself. You need to do taxi and how you shut down the plane. But this plane explain you inspection before you start, before start the engine, how to start the engine, after when you start the engine, before you doing taxi, before you line up to the runway, when you're starting to take off, after takeoff, when you're doing climb, when you're cruising. This plane teach you everything. So this is what I'm saying. When you want to do autopilot and everything else, this is the most beginner friendly plane, and it's fast. They have massive big screens. They have weather. It's good. So if you see it heavy, you need to be avoid that one because you will have lots of turbulences, and you're just using the buttons. Amazing plane. And of course you can change the airflow, because why not? If you want to change this, we just messed up a little bit. Yeah, when I'm pressing buttons, we switched off the autopilot to follow the line. So you can change one of the buttons. You need to select map, and after you can change the scale. You can see other planes, you can see the points where you need to turn, and you don't have lots of clutter on the map. And also you have speed. If you want to go straight, you use 100. If you want to go up, you use 110. You have all of the cheat sheet, but usually you need to learn from the plane on the plane. Even if you want to check, yep, this working, lights working, you can check everything on this plane. And easy to fly, easy to land, easy to maintain speed, and they have the best autopilot, one of the best autopilot based on user experience. If you use the standard edition jet, because I don't have the deluxe or the premium deluxe edition, if using the jet is a little bit easier, because the last step when you need to change from FMC to nav 1, this is already included, because that FMC is loading the the ILS coordinates, and they start the approach itself. And of course, if you want to look outside, this plane just looks nice. Yep, thank you for watching, thank you for being with me, and stay safe, fly safe, and see you next time. Take care.